What's up, guys? Welcome back to Diggin Sports here. So, week 2 was a little bit of craziness if you're a Tennessee Volunteer fan. Let's go ahead and just get that out of the way before we get started. We'll get into that in a little bit in a second, but let's get our introduction out of the way. Thanks for tuning back in. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to drop a comment. And be sure to smash that subscribe button. Still got to get these subs up. They have been working their way up. We're not exactly there yet for the $75 giveaway. Keep that in mind, guys. For 1,000 subs, one lucky winner for a $75 Amazon gift card. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into it. Been a lot of talk about Tennessee. Just watched something on it on SEC Now. There's a lot of hate on Tennessee and what happened with Austin Peay. You know, look how you want to. Is Tennessee struggling that bad offensively? You know, what's really the case? You know, are they trying to hide something that, you know, they're not trying to give the whole playbook up with looming Florida ahead going to the swamp? They don't want to give them too much tape to look at. You know, you could look at it that way as well. You can also look at it as just Austin Peay just came to play. I mean, they came in with running a kind of similar offense to what we run. So, you know, which one really was it, or just have a bad day offensively? You know, because like Joe Milton says, you know, he believes in his receivers as, you know, the top wide receiver room in the country. So, you know, he believes in them. So I don't know. You know, it could go a little bit either way. You know, me personally, I think we're not trying to give up too much tape. I think that's where it's at right now. Just for example, last year, you know, we gave up a lot of tape. We came in trying to hang to 60 points every game. Coming led up to the Georgia game, both undefeated, and we got beat 27-13. So, is that what they're trying to avoid? Are they trying to avoid games like that, the bigger games, and giving too much tape for them to look at and try to expel? So, take it how you want to. It is what it is, but let's hope as Tennessee fans, we're not giving up the full tape. All right. We're going to go ahead and get into the Week 3 predictions. You know, that's what I know a lot of people's here for. A lot of people tune into those. So I'm going to get to a list of games. First off, let's start with the South Carolina traveling to Georgia. This game last year, I can't remember an official score what that was. It was like 40-something, 48-7, something along those lines last year in Carolina, in Columbia. You should be able to expect the same thing this go round. I'm not necessarily, you know, too high on Spencer Rattler. You know, I said that last year, and then he goes out there and he did what he did against Tennessee last year. So, you know, I'm just not that high on him. I haven't been, you know, and continuing to not to be. I just don't think he's as consistent as he needs to be in big games like this. He was last year when he played Tennessee and Clemson to close out the year, but, you know, but a little better this year. I think he's you know, been hitting on a lot of his throws, so he's starting to be a little more consistent this year, I guess you could say. But is he going to be consistent against Georgia and the great defenses that they've had in the past couple years? So, well, you know, it's a bang right now. But overall prediction here, I'm going to go Georgia. I think Georgia gets it done at home. But I don't know. Something's telling me Spencer's going to have a better game than he did last year. I'm not saying this is going to be a 3-point game, 10-point game. I think it's going to be somewhere 17-point game at least. I think that's what will be the final tally, somewhere in there, 17-24, something like that. but I think they can keep it a little closer than like 48-7 or whatever it was last year. But I'm going to go Georgia overall at home. I think they're just a better team right now, as they should be. I'm going to go Dogs. Next game, we got LSU at Mississippi State. That's where SEC Nation is at this week. I'm gonna go with the underdogs. I'm going Mississippi State Bulldogs over LSU. I'm not high on LSU as you guys seen in the episode to begin the year. When we gave out the AP poll. I'm not high on LSU. I think they started the season too high, and I think they got too much eyes on them right now that just think that they're so good, and they're just not. They're just not there. Can they be good in certain times of the season? Yeah, they can. But are they going to consistently do that every single game and be a top-tier team in the nation? No. I'm going Mississippi State Bulldogs. I'm going with an experienced quarterback in Will Rogers. I think he gets it done. I think he has a great game against LSU. Something that he said himself that he had that was one of the toughest games he played in a Mississippi State uniform last year was against the LSU Tigers. And I think he marked this game on his calendar because he wants to make that. He wants to rewrite that wrong, and he wants to put LSU on their backs. And I think he gets it done. I think he has a great game for the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Going the Bulldogs again in this one. Next one is just Georgia Tech and Ole Miss. Georgia Tech is one of those teams right now. You just don't know what you're gonna get. You're just not there yet. New coach still trying to work out some kinks for Georgia Tech. Been running the triple option for so long and trying to go away from that and bring in new players. In a different style of offense is kind of hard to do. Ole Miss is one of the near the top in the SEC right now. As a program, love what Lane Kiffin's doing over there. I think he's got those boys rolling. Came off a big win at Tulane last week. I think he continues that. I think they keep rolling against Georgia Tech. Next game, we got Minnesota traveling to North Carolina. North Carolina was in a nail-biter last week again with App State. Like I said, Drake May kind of like Spencer Rattler. He's just inconsistent, but I think him as well is going to have a good game this week, and I think they get it done against Minnesota at home. Hawaii traveling to Oregon. Not a game you normally see every year. Hawaii traveling to Oregon. But I'm going to Oregon. I think Oregon wins big in this one. Alabama in a unfamiliar, position right now, coming off the loss against Texas. That was the Diggin Deep pick last week. Not necessarily going to pick a Diggin Deep pick here, but they are in unfamiliar territory. Dropped a game against Texas. Now on the road against South Florida? That's a little weird. You don't necessarily see these top-tier programs traveling against these bottom-tier programs, but Alabama is traveling to South Florida. Just heard news. Tyler Buckner is expected to start at quarterback for the Crimson Tide. Jalen Milroe coming off 2 picks against Texas last week. So now they're looking to turn to Tyler Buckner, the transfer from Notre Dame. I think it's a better look. I like it better than Jalen Milroe. I think Jalen Milroe can throw the hell out of the deep ball. Yeah, he can do that. But I think when it comes to middle range and short range throws, I just think he's just not the guy. And I think Tyler Buckner, I think he can get it done for the Crimson Tide a little bit better. And I'm going to go with the Tide big against South Florida. Penn State at Illinois. This should be not close, but Illinois is one of those teams that likes to pull off these upsets. But I think Penn State in a little better position this time go around. So I'm gonna go Penn State, then I'm going Nittany Lions. Western Kentucky traveling to Ohio State. Ohio State looks a little shaky. Something doesn't look right. But I think they're starting to get the wheels turning. And I think they'll continue that against Western Kentucky. I think the spread is a little too big in this one. I think it's almost 30. Could have been like 28.5 or something like that. But Ohio State, I think they'll continue to get it rolling. But I'm telling you, if they let Western Kentucky hang around, Western Kentucky's got an amazing passing attack. You can't let that beat you. But if you let them hang around, it could get a little dicey. But I'm gonna go Ohio State. FSU at Boston College. FSU was another team that I think was ranked a little high, a little too high in the rankings. Beating LSU beginning of the year, jumping into that top 4. And I said LSU just wasn't. I think they were just overranked, overhyped up. I think the same thing can be said for FSU. But I think FSU goes on the road, and I think they get it done. I think Boston College could keep it close for a half, and then I think FSU pulls away. TCU at Houston. TCU losing a lot of pieces, but I just don't think Houston is there to have the talent as of yet. I'm going to go TCU. Kansas State traveling to Mizzou. This was a tough game for me. Kansas State coming off last year with a huge win against Missouri at home, beating them down. So this time, I think Missouri just kind of circled this game. I think they've looked at this game for a while. Kansas State losing some pieces last year, and Deuce, that's a huge piece that's missing. But I think Mizzou is just, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they're there yet. Can they do it? But I think the defense steps up for Missouri, and they get the win. This is going to be the Diggin deep pick for me this week. I'm going Missouri over the 15th ranked Kansas State Wildcats at home. The Tennessee versus Florida is the last game on the list. Obviously big game for Tennessee. Obviously a big game for Florida. Florida's still trying to rewrite the wrong of the first game of the season, dropping it at Utah. I think that put a big chip on the shoulder, and that's kind of why they're playing so tough right now. And this game, Tennessee traveling to them, 11th in the country. They're trying to get a big win, trying to upset the Volunteers, but I don't think they get it done. I don't think they get it done. If there's a team that Tennessee loses to on the schedule, like I said in previous videos, I said it would have been the Florida Gators. The Florida Gators, I don't care how bad they are, and I don't care how good Tennessee is. Tennessee always, somehow, finds a way to struggle against Florida. I don't know how, but it's just somehow they always struggle. Until now. There's just something about it. For 2 decades, Tennessee's lost to the Gators in the Swamp. For 2 decades, guys. 20 years. This is 20 years in the making. They don't like us, and we don't like them. End of discussion. This is 20 years in the making that we're going to rewrite the biggest wrong. And we're going to the Swamp, and we're going to beat the Gators. End of discussion. We are going to put the Gators on their backs. That's what we're going to do. This is 20 years, man. 20 years. And I got goosebumps, guys. This is a game that Tennessee has circled. They want this one bad. They want it bad. And that just might be the reason why Tennessee looks so bad against Austin Peay. Because they want Florida. They want Florida to look at that tape and say, yeah, Tennessee don't look all that good. Tennessee don't look all that good. Okay. We'll see you in the Swamp at 7 o'clock. Just like Billy Napier said. Yeah, the Swamp's going to be a different atmosphere come Saturday night in Gainesville. We'll see you there, bud. We'll see you there. Go Vols, baby. All day. Y'all be sure to hit that subscribe button. Let's get these subs up. We're at 361. Let's keep on our road to 1,000 so we can get that $75 gift card. You guys, thanks for tuning in this week. As always, here at Diggin Sports, guys. Keep digging.